Hello everyone, it is time for a commercial market update. Boy, there's a lot to talk about. Market is shifting right now. There's some relief for some buyers coming, it looks like, and there is a lot to talk about and update you with. And not all sectors are shifting though, so let me be clear on that. And I want to talk about one of them to start with, which is multifamily. So multifamily, we've got 4% vacancy rates in multifamily in the DFW Metroplex right now, which is just stimulated a ton of multifamily development. It hasn't slowed down a single bit. We have more people than we can house coming to this area. It's created new ventures. For example, I know DR Horton has 8 or 9 communities going into the area where they're just single-family homes that are leasing communities. They do nothing but lease the homes. It's managed like multifamily. We are actually, as a real estate firm, managing one of those communities as well in the lease-up phase of it, and we have way more applications than we do homes being delivered. It's just unbelievable, the leasing demand. So rents are up 17.4% year over year. It just keeps helping the economics, even with higher land prices. And we have 56,000 units that are under construction by mid-year. That's an additional 15,000 over last year. Think about that. Just think about 1,000 units. That's 1,000 families. How much economic activity does 1,000, much less 56,000 just units being developed and only 4% vacancy rate. So it's just an unreal demand for housing in the area. The shift in the interest rates has not hurt multifamily. If anything, it may even drive some home buyers that were on the sidelines that couldn't get into a home because the interest rates jumped up when their new build was complete. They couldn't afford it any longer, so they have to go rent. So I don't see any relief there for rents and on demand of multifamily for this area anytime soon in the near future. So, and that's the consensus of everybody. But just watch these leasing communities. They're the new thing, and you'll get to see some of the stuff that we have as a management firm managing one of these communities, managed just like multifamily. And you maintain the front yard so it keeps it nice and got a community center, dog park, all that good stuff. Some of them may have pools, and it's handled just like an apartment complex. The only thing the tenant has to handle is the backyard. So interesting concept. I think it's genius, and it's already working on the one we're managing. So multifamily. So let's go shift gears to warehouse distribution. So again, we have been a mecca for warehouse development. Maybe peaking out next year is the consensus. We've heard some news from Amazon pulling back on how much warehouse space they need. I think North Texas is the #1 holder of Amazon space, and so there's some validity there, especially in our area. We may see some pullback in some warehouse space over the next 24 months. But, I mean, right now, we're still, let's see, we have 70 million square feet of warehouse distribution space is under construction. 22.5 million just this year of space was leased. And a lot of that's under construction, it may not just be looking for tenants. A lot of that may be owner occupant. So it's still booming, and we're still top in the country for warehouse distribution space. And we just can't find enough of it. I would say a real high demand, just what we see in our firm, is anything less than 50,000 square feet is really hard to come by. They're building in, as I just said, 70 million square feet right now. but that's more large industrial. But you have a lot of mid to small size companies that are looking for that 25 to 50,000, and you just can't find it. You just can't find it anywhere. So, Mr. Investor, that's something to think about when you're developing. Also, let's see what else we have. Let's move on to retail. Retail demand is Dallas-Fort Worth is #1 for retail demand. So we've definitely recovered out of the pandemic. 6.7 million move-ins, net move-in since the first of the year. So that's a huge increase. It puts us at the top of the list for the whole country, guys. DFW is where it's at. I see equity firms coming from New York, all over the place. Capital outfits are making their home here now because this is the future. Texas is the future of a lot of real estate and development in our nation. It's really cool to be right in the middle of it, and I'm thankful for that. So retail's up. What we're seeing is vacancy rates are trending around 4.8%, which is down from 6.2% at the peak of the pandemic. So, you know, you've got retail, and then you have office. Has office, you know, you would think, oh, retail's peaking, it's recovered from, we're #1 in the country. Office is still struggling, and one of the main hurdles for office is the sublease availability. In heavy urban areas, like downtown Dallas, for example, has 10 million square feet of sublease, not 10 million square feet of sublease space available. So sublease is somebody's in a lease, like Uber's one of the big ones, and they realize they don't need that much space any longer because the pandemic has changed their whole business model. Well, all that space, that's 10 million square feet, is available in our area, and the net absorption for the first half of the year was only 2 million, which 2 million is a great net absorption, but it's really being suppressed by all of the available sublease space. And so what happens is that market is still soft on rents and vacancy rates. But I really say the urban area, the downtown areas and surrounding areas there, but the outer suburbs, we're not seeing that so much because a lot of businesses are getting out of the downtown areas, and small businesses in particular. I would say up to 20,000 square feet. And really, we in Rockwall County, we need that 10 to 30,000 square feet, have zero available. And there's a lot of businesses that are looking for that type of space. So that's what's going on in the office. We are a leader in population growth, net migration. We have 3.1% unemployment rate. Job gains are just through the roof. We don't have enough people to fill all the jobs here. And so as far as commercial investment is set up and to be successful, there's no better place. That's why you have capital firms coming and relocating here. You can read the news just like I do, and you can see it day after day, all the relocations to this area. So I think you're going to see some relief on some of these really low cap rates, and we're seeing that. We're beginning to see that. We probably saw 20 to 25% of contracts that we had actually terminate last month, or in the last 30 days since that last bump in interest rates. It's been really interesting to see kind of what I call a pause. It's the same thing we're seeing in residential. But they're also getting a lot of activity once they're going back on the market. Some parts of the country are not as insulated as we are to this higher interest rate environment or interest rate hiking environment, and they're seeing as much as 50 to 75% of their contracts terminate over this because they don't have the expected growth in those areas that we do that's keeping the investment dollars here. So that's my commercial market update for you. If you have any real estate needs, we would love the opportunity to serve you from a commercial buying, selling, from management, if you have properties you need managed. And on the residential side, we have a full separate team for residential that gives nothing but 5-star service on all of our lines, and we would love the opportunity to serve you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.